and you'll never miss a match again. Strafe, everything esports. Download now on iOS and Android.
All right, welcome back to the panel. I think undisputed most exciting match of the tournament right there.
Definitely.
So many back and forth fights. It seems like every team fight was this insane, chaotic. I mean, Leshrac has that effect, right? He's basically a walking disco ball. But we saw so many of those insane engagements with 3 heroes down on both sides. We saw a fight with 9 heroes dead, and of course,
5 buybacks at one time.
5 buybacks. That ending with creeps just knocking down the tier 4s. I mean, there were so many specific things of that game that made it stand out.
Yeah, incredible finale. Honestly, either team could have won right at that Roche fight. I think if that shard had been ready just like moments earlier for Newbee, they would have taken the victory there, I'm pretty sure, with the RP. But couldn't quite get it. Had to have the backpack cooldown, and that's kind of what lost in that final fight. So very, very well played from the side of Vici Gaming.
The thing about laning stage is you want to have that Ursa against the Tidehunter, but they sacked kind of TB's farm at the start, and you have that extra TP for you one, so you can just swap lanes a couple of times as well, have a matchup, whatever you want, pretty much.
Yep. Despite how much he was like countered out overall in the draft for the Tidehunter, I thought that would be the big reason why they would lose. I didn't think he'd get enough farm because he wants to be such a greedy offlaner, but they gave him so much support early on.
I think if Ursa went for a different item build, Basher, just a lockdown, he could have jumped on Fenrir. He did not have a Ghost Scepter, just take him down in a couple of hits, and also it's good against Ori. With that just one extra bash, you can just keep him in place. He can't use a Ghost Shroud. He went for the one item that can actually dispel a Ghost Shroud, but Necro was so tanky.
I guess, that's my main question there is where do you make the Basher fit into that build? He went for the Deso, BKB, Nullifier, Blink. I mean, all of those feel pretty core.
Well, that's the thing about Ursa. He runs out of slots pretty quickly.
Especially
you want to have that Deso for extra damage, extra tower damage as well.
Terrorblade, who has so much armor.
Well, he can swap Vlad's. That's one item, but he couldn't get the farm. That's the thing. Also, maybe Aghanim Scepter would be a good choice at one point, because he was just being locked down by Necro. It completely dispels the damage from Necrolite and removes the stun as well.
Speaking of dispelling and whatnot with the Necrolite and the Necrophos, I suppose now, but no Spirit Vessel. I was kind of expecting that this game could have been something to maybe try and get their way into, up against that Necrophos.
Faith had earned, but I don't know if
he's a Bane.
He's a Bane. 42 last hits.
That's the answer every time we talk about it off panel. Where are the Spirit Vessels? And the response is, how are they going to afford it? The only heroes that have the slots and the urn don't really have the farm to upgrade. I mean, Bane went for a Glimmer Cape instead, and it seemed like that was a pretty smart pickup.
I think maybe instead of the Eon Disc, if I had to pick one thing that I could consider.
The Eon Disc on Kaka?
Yeah, and maybe if he had been the one to actually try and go in towards that Spirit Vessel. It just seems like such a clutch itemization up against the Necrophos. But
well, the thing is, these fights last so long, and Necro, what is it now? Sitting at 2.6% per second of HP.
Yeah, it was hurting.
Yeah, that's a lot of damage in... I don't know if it's involved into the damage overall.
He still did 50,000 damage that game, just a little bit more than the Lesh on the other side. Pretty impressive.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking if it's
I'm not
in
sure.
this. I'm not sure how it works.
Yeah, some things are, some things aren't, you know. But pretty incredible, too, just overall. That control from Fenrir. Definitely can't understate how important the Winter Wyvern was in that game. He had Mugi's number the entire time. So many fights where I'd just be watching the fight, and this RP comes out, and you're like, all right, here it is. So they all just get cleaved down, and then Mugi just can't do anything. Gets Winter's Curse.
Also,
someone gets
itemization, from Tidehunter, Solar Crest against that Ursa. You can't really lock down that hero. He's going to get the ulti off whenever he wants, pretty much. There's no burst damage on the side of... Besides that Ursa, and once his BKB drops to 5 seconds...
You don't have those classic answers
juke
either.
Yeah.
There's no Doom, there's no Disruptor, things that can actually pass through this Kraken Shell, give you an opportunity, right? So.
Yeah, we saw a couple refresher shards that game, mostly on the big ultimates that you would expect, the Magnus as well as the Tidehunter. Both of them were able to use the refresher shard, but Terrorblade, little indirect buff there, having the ability to get a double metamorphosis. We see he picked up a refresher at the very end there. Not uncommon for Terrorblades, but having that, not be a gold investment is a pretty big deal in some games. Potentially. Wow. So hopefully we have some replays. There's a lot to look at. Yes, we do. Okay, good. So this was, which fight was this? This was one of the first big ones here.
I believe this is when they were attempting their high ground, and then this is where they lost a lot of their kills. This is kind of like when they were in full control mode. I mean, it's, you gotta look pretty far back, right? But 14-8, double-digit,
10K net worth lead.
Yeah, this was where they should have closed it out.
Big Ravage as well. So Necro, look at Necro, just dealing damage with that aura.
A lot of good scythes this game too.
Well, Aghanim Scepter helped a lot, just to reduce the cooldown.
And it started to look good still, right?
Yeah, that was Empowered Therablade as well, don't forget that.
Yeah, that's true. Nice little steal there to help him out. And of course, you watched him just cleaning up everyone there for Paparazzi.
Yeah, when the fight started, it looked so good for Newbee.
Yeah. Some of it was just having trouble killing off that Tide Hunter. They ended up having to commit a lot to finally finish him off, and they committed deep for it.
Yeah, one thing we talked about them not having, I guess, is also just tower push in general, right, from the Radiant. Just Leshrac, you don't have any sort of like an actual ranged right clicker, which was a little bit difficult.
So this is the big one outside of the Roche, but I think this is what ends up being
huge RP, but there's no big damage. Like you see Moogie, he even has the BKB, but it's just not enough. Then there's a Cold Embrace to save someone. Then there's a Winter's Curse. His life was awful.
Yeah.
Like, could not do a thing, and they somehow managed to turn this around despite it looking so poor.
Yeah, so much chaos in these fights. So much AoE damage. And Newbee, I like that they don't hesitate here. They get wiped and they say, listen, there's a Roche. We need this. They make the call for the buybacks, and they come almost immediately.
Yeah, this fight lasted about 3 minutes or something, I think. Everyone buying back, rushing back in, getting the kills. Everyone else buying back on the side of Vici. All the battle for the big green shard. Oh, yeah. Backstroking away.
I'm going to jump
Young
on that
11
cliff.
says, guys, we got five buybacks here. It's time to taunt a little bit. If there wasn't a ward on the high ground there, and it gets placed right as he jumps up, like half a second before, it could have been a clutch play to survive, but they do finish him off.
Yeah, pretty unlikely he was going to survive out of that one, I'm sure.
This is the best chance Newbee get. In the end, it was 4 or 5 man RP with 3 man, 4 man stun from Sanking.
Yeah.
The thing is, Bane is kind of useless late game, especially when you're playing with Lesh in your team, because he always wakes up someone because of that big AoE.
That's a good point.
Wouldn't be surprised if the Wyvern somehow slips through in any of these games for the rest of the day. Maybe a silencer or something, because we're really having trouble getting into that backline, actually catching that Wyvern. Maybe a Clockwork, someone who needs to get there and actually prevent him from getting right in with that curse, because it's too consistent. Every single game, doesn't matter the player, they're getting it off.
I think in that situation, though, right idea for Newbee to burn those buybacks. Roche was up, Refresher Shard, so they were able to secure the Roche after that. Unfortunately, there was the Refresher Shard ended up in the backpack of the Magnus, and I think ideally would have liked to have that thing off cooldown so we could have refreshed and RP'd, but that messed up the post-Roche fight a little bit.
If they killed TB, that game was probably over.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, they try to focus on Necro. Necro somehow survives, deals damage with Nora, then gets one more kill, then regions back up.
The reset.
Yeah, plus the cooldown, he can use, twice?
Something like
twice
that.
Reaper Sight in a fight.
It's like 25 seconds, so yeah, you'll get it. Wow, absolutely crazy game. We are starting to see some of these new items, though, like, more regularly. Right, we got to see an Eon Disc and the Nullifier in that game. You still like the Nullifier against Necro? Do you think that was the right item?
No, I think the Basher would made a difference, actually.
Okay, compared to the Nullifier.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell. Didn't feel as good as the last game we saw because there were way more items that was shutting down last time we watched it, I believe. It was more like Ghost Scepters and BKB, Scythes, all these things just becoming instantly inactive when he hopped on top of them.
That's the thing about Ursa. He just reaches the peak, then it just keep coming down.
Yeah.
So easy to kite around him, especially with Winter Wyvern, though.
Yeah.
No more Wyverns, please.
Good old Winter Wyvern. So, update on the bracket for those of you that joined us late today. This is Championship Sunday for the AMD SAPPHIRE Dota Pit Season 6. We're down there in the lower bracket finals. Newbee versus Vici. Vici now leads 1-0. Newbee 1 loss away from elimination. But elimination here means they will secure 3rd place. All of these teams remaining have secured themselves some Dota 2 circuit points leading up to TI next year. So, this is the beginning of the grind, boys. The very beginning. Get those points in while you can, right?
Yep, every little bit counts there. And I don't know, Game 2, I guess, besides Winter Wyvern, is there anything else that we're really looking at here that was super impactful this game?
Necro is actually buffed because it's so hard to dispel without the Diffusal Blade anymore.
I still want to see the Spirit Vessel against Necro in action once. Regardless of who buys it, I want to see one team prioritize it just so we can get a taste of, is that really an effective counter to shut him down, or is it overrated? Does it just seem good on paper?
I mean, he would probably find a solution, I'm sure, right? He'll just get like a Lotus Orb or something, or some sort of a BKB, some way to just
Lotus
deal
is
with
an
it.
option there.
Yeah, but it's
So-
still as good early game. Scaled so well
Yeah.
in the late game once the BKBs drop the 5 seconds.
It definitely feels like that awkward state. It's kind of like an Atos, where it's like, it's this weird item that like feels really strong and stuff, but there's so few heroes that can actually pick it up because it's at this weird point where it's like, well, I can almost get something more expensive that's so sick, and then you don't have to commit for an urn too. I
Yeah,
mean,
but it gives a lot of strength,
yeah,
a lot of tankiness. You can just
perhaps.
heal your own team,
Spectre
go to
Spirit
Roche
Vessel.
after, continue the push.
Spirit Vessel.
Can we,
Yeah,
can
why
we
not?
get that going?
Yeah.
I'm in.
It's not the
Spectre,
craziest
Spirit
thing.
Vessel, Mask of Madness.
Sure.
Someone report back. Don't
Hey.
worry. Not right now, though. We got 9 out of 10, so you don't have time.
Spectre gets a bad rap, all right? Everyone thinks all she can do is play the late game, but I'll tell you what, man, she can be pretty feisty in that early mid game if you itemize her right.
We'll see. Get some
We'll see.
turbo mode Spectre going. Perhaps you might have time for that, I guess.
It felt like the 5th pick Terrorblade was really good, though. I mean, we talked a lot about Anti-Mage, but I think Terrorblade might be one we see in that, 5th, 6th kind of band slot because he was just that right mix of can push, can fight really well, but also very survivable, right? Getting that additional reset with the Sunder.
Yeah, also very important the way that you could lane him too, right?
Yeah.
There's not many heroes that you can kind of send down these awkward situations and still farm their way back up like that, but he's able to use Metamorphosis early on that even if he's given this terrible lane, it still worked out enough. I mean, he was like 1.5 walking back to lane. You're like, oh, geez. All right, is this going to be okay for Terrorblade? But they figured it out, and all that prioritization on the Tidehunter is basically what gave them this game, honestly. I think this game would look so different if he's like 2,000 or 3,000 gold behind in that mid game.
For sure.
Which he probably should have been, honestly, in most situations. But they brought down that Terrorblade a little bit, but it doesn't matter how much gold he has. He still has the levels to actually knock down those towers when you do get those big wipes from the farm Tidehunter.
Well, once again, the team with more late game heroes actually won.
True, yeah.
They had
the carry meta, baby.
Yeah.
They had Necro, who scales so well, Terrorblade as well, Winter Wyvern with just one good ulti. You wipe one hero before the fight starts.
All right. Well, game number 2, folks. We won't delay any longer. Let's jump right in and see what these teams have for us in the draft. And another first ban Night Stalker coming out from Vici. I've been a little underwhelmed with Leshrac so far this event. It seems like most of the games we've seen Lesh, he's had a little bit of that Undying feel where he comes online really early. Of course, in that early mid game, the burst damage is insane. He has a nice spammable stun, but he just isn't really. Once the level 25s come out, it feels like he starts to fall off.
I think it's once the tier 2s are gone, that's where I just feel lost with Leshrac, right? He's amazing for all the tier 1s and tier 2s. This hero's just going to knock them all down, but then it's high ground, just not nearly as strong.
Yeah, for Diabolic Edict to work on the high ground, you have to put yourself in a pretty risky position.
Yeah, you need an Aegis on him if you want to go tier 3 with Diabolic Edict.
Turn to ban.
Tough stuff.
Looking pretty similar here.
I don't know. Lesh is one of the heroes that look better on paper than in practice.
Yep. So far, bans exactly the same.
Feels like
for
new
both
Morphling.
teams.
Looks better on paper than
Dire
practice.
team back.
It's a little bit rough.
And actually, it's the exact same setup. Last match, Vici was first pick, also on Dire. So this is the first variance with now the Winter Wyvern second banned. It was the Undying that Newbee banned out second last time.
And then we're still looking for that Brewmaster,
10
being the big
seconds
one here,
remaining.
and then the Magnus again. Probably it might end up switching
5
sides here, right?
seconds
If
remaining.
Newbee don't pick it up in their 2-3.
Certainly possible. I will say I underestimated Magnus. I feel bad for saying so many negative things about the Magnetar on day 1 of this event. He has proven himself.
Turn to ban.
Go Magnus.
Looks like VG Gaming saying, I know last time we let her slip through, but this time we're not going to give you the chance. There was the option, of course. They could have went for the Baymar last game. I think we're all a little bit surprised they didn't opt for it. And VG Gaming sensing maybe a change in strategy, don't want that to happen.
That does mean the Monkey King
10
now available.
seconds remaining.
I think also because Wyvern is a very good
5
counter to
seconds
Numerana. So
remaining.
much of her damage is now right-click based. She has this crazy leap thing. So we saw a couple games, I think, where Wyvern was just helping to obliterate Mirana's teammates with the curse.
What will it be?
Thoughts on Bane? Like, Bane is super good early game and throughout mid game, but late game that hero is just complete garbage.
I would put him in the category of slightly overrated. He's obviously good. I don't know if he's as good as it seems like teams have been prioritizing him compared to some of these other big cores that really seem to be actually closing out the victories.
What I would say is that I'd compare him to, I guess, like Ogre in this situation on VG Gaming. Those are probably the 2 heroes left that I would be looking at. So what can my Bane do? If I have sustainable safe laners and maybe
10
off laners who don't need a lot of
seconds
help,
remaining.
I can roam mid, I can roam to the other lanes and help get kills, actually set stuff up for a secondary hero, whereas like the Ogre, or in this case the Undying, are more about kind of harassing people and securing a lane in itself, staying there. But, yeah, we will get our Undying since it goes unbanned.
Undying right into Sanking.
Oh, this is a classic Newbee opening, Sanking AA. They've been pretty known for that. Then you have Cold Feet and Sanking stun, guaranteed stun, one more stun after that.
Already have one healing hero on the side of Vici Gaming with the Soul Rip. So, pretty good start from there.
5 seconds remaining.
And now we question if he wants to go for that Magnus or risk it being banned out in the second phase for Young 11.
Yeah, probably pretty high priority. As we've talked about with the Undying openers, it seems the times it really thrives is when he's paired with somebody who can push that Undying Rasta combo, one that's been quite popular. Just a good support duo that kind of make up for what the other lacks.
I think Rubik's also really good here because you have the Spell Shield versus the Ancient Apparition, you have the Steel versus the Sand King.
Yeah, the instant Sanking stun is just so good.
Really
we
good.
saw it in the previous game as well.
I'd probably call that the safest opener.
Plus they're both green.
Also, yeah, but you're not on Radiant, so
Doesn't matter, green
not as
always
strong.
wins.
Oh, okay, fine, fair enough.
In this meta, it's a pretty safe bet, but they go for the old 11 Omni Knight. It was a 4th banned, I believe, by Newbee in the last game, and we have seen Young 11 play it only once earlier in this tournament. We referenced it in the last draft. That was the Anti-Mage game. Would be super surprised if Newbee don't ban out Anti-Mage unless they want to pick it themselves.
I think
10
TV, though, could
seconds
also be
remaining.
just as strong with the combo, so...
Repel on a Terrorblade is
Team
pretty
back.
darn nasty. There's the AM right away, and then Monkey King banned out by Vici.
Maybe Medusa, too, possibly for Vici Gaming. It's kind of big, single, kind of 4 protect 1, if you will, kind of strategies with the Omni Knight trying to enable someone to some ridiculous degree.
Even against the Ancient
Team
Apparition,
back.
just so much healing with this duo.
Your buddy, DK, he's gone.
All right.
A little bit of respect for the dragon.
Yeah. Always afraid of those high tempo lineups with an Undying.
Well, DP is still in the pool.
Yeah, DP and Void.
Newbee's turn to pick.
you
Would be
imagine if
really
Vici
nice for
picked
Newbee right now.
DP and Terrorblade with their next 2? That would be pretty scary.
I feel like Void's super strong for Newbee
I don't know
right
if
now.
Newbee left it on purpose, if they want to pick a DP, because I'm 100% sure Vici will pick it.
Yeah, and plus you don't really have to
10
worry about
seconds
Vici
remaining.
taking the Void. At least I don't think so. So if you wanted to, you could get Void and DP in this
5
phase for a
seconds
Newbee, more
remaining.
than likely.
Yeah.
Strong comfort heroes.
You could, absolutely.
Then you still have the
Huge team
flexibility of
fight.
like the Sand King off lane. Could be the Void off lane. Could be like a Phoenix position 4 or something too to get that in for mad team fight. And we're still maybe the chance of a silencer if you really wanted against the Omni and the Undying can be strong, but I don't think we're going to see too much of that hero now with the SK and the AA.
Talked a lot about Silencer, but I don't think we've seen
Didn't
any
see him,
touched at all.
sadly.
No. He's
Poor
only living the
Silencer.
captain's draft life right now, I believe.
Well, Newbee definitely
Dire
thinking
team
about what they want here, and it's Sven. Well, a classic pairing with the Ancient Apparition, but I have to admit I'm a little bit surprised.
Well, that's one of the counters if they want to bait him into picking a DP. Sven's War Cry, a lot of armor for everyone. DP ulti is physical.
10 seconds remaining.
Well, it's a super strong lane, and you're trying to deal with this Omni there, trying to shut him down.
5
Another hero that doesn't really have any sort of like jungling options, can't make rotations at all, and be very helpful. So the laning stage for Young 11 going to be a bit of a concern here for Vici Gaming, and yeah, we've seen this before, right? Going to be able to block off the wave to help that out, give Omni a better shout.
We did see a Sven last night in that Liquid Vici series. It was the one where Liquid just fought perfectly around the Sven power spikes and really
10
made that hero
seconds
look
remaining.
unstoppable.
Remember when we used to pick Void Sven
5
every game, and
seconds
somehow it
remaining.
worked? That was amazing. That was quite the meta. Definitely not expecting it here, I don't think, at this point. We'd be pretty surprised. But KP's hero likely still remaining open, assuming this is a position 4 Sand King for Kaka. Definitely one of his big signatures.
Yeah, I guess Magnus Sven, not really that classic and power combo since he has the built-in cleave.
Still not bad, though. I mean,
You
obviously, you're
can't
still able to
have too
combo.
much cleave, that's
Yeah.
the thing.
Okay. It's not bad, but
Would be a decent way to set up, too. I'm in favor. I'm okay with it.
could also look at something like a Nature's Prophet if they want to push. They do have quite a bit of control already with these first 3.
When is Enigma gonna come?
I know, right? I've been waiting. I feel like with the status resistance, you got a buff, right?
Yeah.
Come on now. Can't
I think
status
so.
resist Black Hole.
Yeah. Sometimes you can't status resist Sven's son either.
Yeah, apparently so.
30 seconds of reserve time left. Newbee thinking about this fourth one. Almost 100% an offlaner here, though.
No, Puck's gone. Puck would have been a nice one to have that flexibility still.
Yes, finally a Bat Rider. We've seen him banned. Now we'll
Not
get to see him
picked yet.
played.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Newbees turn to battle.
Right into an OD.
So we saw Ori looking pretty strong in this hero. We already talked about the combination of Omni Knight and OD. I think they even had that in one of their games too.
Yeah.
Just something we've seen time and time again.
So much save on the side of Vici, though. You've got the Astral now from OD, Fissure to break up fights,
10
Repel, and then all of
remaining.
these heals. So whichever carry they pick here, they have a ton of heroes to make
5
space.
seconds
Yeah, it's hard to
remaining.
find good core counters to the lasso, but
It's going to be a tough game for this Bat Rider, I think.
Dire team back.
Well, they need something more physical damage against Sven. Something that can man fight him. I don't
Always
know, maybe a
hard to find.
troll.
yeah, helps with OD. It's always a nice combination. Doesn't lane the best versus the Bat Rider.
Yeah, that's true.
So we could, I guess, like Juggernaut's still a possibility.
10
Again, though, with the fact he
seconds
can't defuse off Warcry, that really has. I mean, that matchup was already pretty bad for the Jug.
5 seconds
Except when you need them,
remaining.
those situations versus Bat Rider, but now it's even worse. Slark,
Maybe
I
a-
guess.
I don't know. Oh, they banned out Weaver. When I see Bat Rider, the only two carries that do so good in a lanes are Weaver and Nikes.
Yeah. Unless you want to go back to our safe lane Legion days.
That's true. My gut is still telling me Terrorblade could be an option. I know Sven is one of the more sort of traditional counters with the cleave to get rid of illusions, but I feel like they really want somebody that can push on the side of Vici and also be reasonably survivable.
The only thing is it feels like Omni Knight's probably going to have to focus a lot on the OD and giving a lot of heals and
That's true.
repels over to her, so, or him, or it.
Him.
Giant floating thing.
Could the Nakes be an option now that you've said that? It's good against the Bat Rider and somebody's a little more sustainable, and that allows Omni to focus on OD. Earthshaker can be an okay Infest Bomb carrier. You know, you don't need that classic
Dire
carrier
team
for Nakes to work.
It's definitely a lot weaker without the Infest Bomb, though. Again, it is very good against the Bat Rider in lane, but
It's a Venge.
okay.
Position 1 Venge.
As long as you have like good supports with you, then the stun can help step on the Bat Rider and create a different kind of threat. So
And also swap to break the lasso.
Well, when you're playing a position 1 Venge, you don't want to put yourself into that position, just swapping whenever lasso is used. I mean, you have a Omni
10
Knight
seconds
and Undying
remaining.
plus Astral if you want to combine all of that, plus a Fissure, so it's easy to pull it off,
5
but usually you
seconds
don't do it.
remaining.
yeah, probably
Just
going to be
another
mostly
tool
on
in the
Shaker.
chest, though.
Yeah, it's true. It helps against the solo pickoffs, especially where Bat's like a little far away from the team and trying to drag you very deep. So they have lots of bursts for the lasso. They have the Ancient Apparition. They have the Sven. Even Sand King can help out with that, so that's not something they have to
What
worry about.
Viper, is he in?
Yeah, Viper's
he's
in.
still be
Viper
there.
could definitely work here. And we'll see
Razor,
what it
too.
is. It's a
Choose your
Medusa.
hero.
Okay. Looked like a pretty solid hero, honestly, for Vici this game, but the OD was taken instead.
Oh, the
So
Manta Ray Bat Rider.
SCCC.
One of my favorites. Okay. I'm liking this Vici draft a little bit here, guys. Last time we saw Young 11 on the Omni Knight, it was a very impressive performance. They have so many ways to break up these fights.
Seem to recall there being a pretty poor win rate for Sven and Medusa on the same team, if I'm not mistaken. And
Really?
logically so. I mean, these are both two heroes that won a lot of stacks. You know, you have some issues trying to get a bunch of farm on both of them. Maybe that's changed now in the new patch. Obviously, some teams have made it work before in the past, so can't doubt it too much. But this definitely looks like heavy earlier push from Vici Gaming. They have a core Venge after all. They have an Omni Knight and Undying, and we're going to try and hold fast here for Newbee, kind of make it in that late game, which has been very successful. I don't know if you guys noticed yet. Seems to be winning quite a few games.
That's true. What are you thinking here, Lacoste?
Features Gaming have a lot of stuff to save. Astral, Fissure, a lot of heals. Also pretty ballsy to pick Medusa into OD.
Yeah.
Oh,
which I
right.
think they're gonna punish that.
Yeah. Usually you see it the opposite. A Medusa at OD is pretty high on the list if Anti-Mage has been banned out. Okay, well, let's see what happens here, folks. Game number 2. This is your lower bracket finals. If this goes too well, we're going right into the grand finals after this. We've got Sunsfan and Grand Grant once more.
Thanks, Iori. We got game number 2 as Vici Gaming takes the first in this best of 3 for the lower bracket finals of the Dota Pit Minor. Sunsfan here with Grand Grant as I hear a taunt being activated. Very important to do that pre-game.
Yes, the old dancing disco ball and Undying. And yeah, you were talking about it already. So they have a core Venge, but they don't really have anyone who benefits from this Vengeance Aura per se in the 5-man death ball. But tons of saving. We actually saw him kind of play this style with the Omni Knight and whatnot when they picked that AM. Unfortunately, AM banned out, and it's gonna be interesting how quick Vici can play, pardon me.
Oh, Kaka breaks the smoke. Faith's going to be the initiation with the decay. We have a magic missile and a fissure coming into play. Faith looks to be just walking this
30
off.
seconds to battle.
Ice Vortex level 1, 5-man slowed him down.
Oh my.
That's insane. He lived there. They even got the block. That's actually insane. He just walked around it. I'm out of here.
You don't get the extra move speed anymore, though, unfortunately.
You do not.
That was a cool little feature that we probably never saw once in our games.
And then, yeah, Lacoste just always talked about it. It never said anything about Ice Vortex, and he got it removed. Thanks, bud.
Paparazzi and company look to be taking this rune, no problem. Kaka,
The
not a whole lot you can do here.
begins.
And look at KP. We see him just hiding up top. He's just going to pull the wave. I mean, that's what you do as a Bat Rider, especially level 1. Just pull that wave. We'll see if Young 11 even looks for him. Nope. He's just going to try to block the wave and then be thoroughly surprised when a Bat Rider flies out.
Yeah, so Vici Gaming takes 3 of the 4 bounty runes. We talked about a lot of the save here for Vici Gaming. I assume you're not really going to see the swap canceling the Bat Rider thing that often unless the positioning is okay. I mean, the way I think about it, if you have a support Venge, you do that because you're going to, in theory, sacrifice your life anyway, but as a 1, not always want to be in those positions.
Yeah. And now they did rotate, so KP actually just goes down bottom. They want this matchup. It's a Venge Earthshaker versus Bat Rider. Pretty tough to kill him. He can just fly over the Fissure, will never die. But top lane now, Young 11 just got a full first wave to himself. That feels pretty good as an Omni.
That is nice. Remember the old solo Omni days? He's going to get a complete free lane here.
Yep.
Well, I say that now Faith and Mugi come together to harass a little bit. But like you said, level advantage is definitely there.
It's crazy to see. You know, we had a Bane in this game, just didn't get banned out at all. We had a first pick Undying, and man, Vici Gaming has played this hero so well. I mean, you just dominate the lanes with it, throw out decays, get some damage, and harass back.
Fenrir TP's top just to do a little pull here. See if it's be successful. Gets 2 creeps, better than nothing.
We'll take it. I don't think we're going to see too many kills, especially with the Sand King bottom. If they were doing a full tri-lane, we possibly might, but it's going to be very, very tough to kill bottom lane as Vici as well as Newbee. I mean, if you get a stun off on Lanham, maybe you just fly over him, get some sticky up on him, and he dies.
Yeah, Lanham, of course, we talked about the Undying having the upgraded Tombstone now at level 1, so might be able to... Do you still pick that up at level 3, you think, after a Soul Rip?
It depends. We actually saw him go like 2-1-0 a few of the games he played this Undying. The reduced cooldown on decay, pretty good.
Kaka's going to take this route, no problem. If we're looking at mid lane here, Ori versus SC, OD versus Medusa. You have to think, in theory, the Arcane Orb quite good against the Medusa, sealing that in.
Yeah, and it really just depends how many procs of Essence Aura he gets. If he can just continuously do that and then get maybe, I was going to say get 1 stun. If the Earthshaker like rotates middle, gets a nice block, could be a nice kill, but they're fine with this. Ori's just free farming middle right now.
Yeah, it's 8 and 11 CS versus the 3 and 1, so definite favor going to the OD. Can't be too surprised by that.
And Medusa's level 2. He
okay,
is
that's even worse than I thought.
Yeah, he is owning. And we're going to see lane rotations. Neither team has been I mean, they've been super frugal, just moving around the map, using their TPs to change lanes. Last game, we saw like 4 rotations between the carries. And once again, we'll see it. Paparazzi going top.
Yeah, Purification was used, Bob, but not able to catch KP with the damage, but will be taking the creeps in Young 11. What do you think about this? If this ends up being a 1v1, the Omni Knight versus Bat Rider. Typically, Bat Rider really good against melee heroes.
Young 11 will get Young 11 will get experience, but top lane, nice stun
fissure
from Fenrir, saves out Paparazzi, and there will be no kill.
We've seen a few Vengeful Spirit games this tournament. I want to say 2 as carry.
Oh, Kaka's going to do a ton of damage. He does have the chilly fingers. He's going to get all 3 attacks off, but look at Paparazzi. Hello.
This takes away from his farm time at the same time. Fisher's going to block him in. The right clicks are there, and the Enchant Totem gives first blood the way of Vici Gaming.
Yeah, those chilly fingers get him killed. He thought he could do so much more damage, but without a teammate there, unfortunately, he cannot.
So back to what I was saying, the Vengeful Spirit we've seen twice so far as a core, tapered off a lot in these games. The window was never actually seized. Do you feel that that's a potential issue here for Vici Gaming?
Definitely could be. Unless this OD gets 6 slotted with Repel, it's going to be so hard for them to win this late game versus a Sven as well as Medusa. But there's definitely a chance. I mean, when we saw OG play, they took four axes, and then they couldn't do anything more. Middle lane, though.
Yeah, Burrow Strike into a cold feet. Will this proc? Indeed it will, but Fenrir is here for support as the Fissure. Not sure if they're actually going to go for this. He gets the Fissure off on Kaka, but no Astral Imprisonment as of yet for Ori, who goes for a 2-0-3 build.
And now middle lane, they thought they used everything, but Lanham, he's ready to just go in there, decay, be an Undying, not really do anything, just harass him.
Yeah, this could be a pretty big kill here in the mid lane. Fenrir is here available with the Fissure, blocks him in pretty decently. Enchant Totem will not connect. Top lane though, Sven's gonna be doing a lot of damage. Looks like we'll lose this Vengeful Spirit if not careful. Gets off the magic missile. One more right click will suffice. The TP not in time. Medusa in the meantime did die in the mid lane, so it's a 1-for-1 across the map.
Yep, and really doesn't benefit either team. You're losing your early game Vengeful Spirit, but by killing that Medusa, I mean, Medusa, when she gets level 4 Snake, feels like she can flash farm pretty nicely, but until then, she can. Ori's just dominating her right now. Good rotations from Vici Gaming supports.
And still with essentially a 2-level advantage here for Ori in the mid lane.
Yeah.
And Fenrir, he's just going to keep coming. Enchant Totem, Fissure, seen this before.
Misses
Lots of mana here. Lots of arcane orbs coming through. Ori actually gets an Essence Shift proc, but will not pursue any further as Kaka has come to play. Burrow Strike a little bit too short, only level 1. It actually feels so bad to use that level 1 Burrow Strike.
And Fenrir, right place, right time. I think if he moved that Fissure a little to the left, that actually would have been a kill. Would have blocked him enough for like 2-3 more auto attacks. But still, making the Medusa go and use their top shrine. And now they're just diving Faith middle.
Yeah, not looking good for this Ancient Apparition. There's a couple right clicks will take him out, and Fenrir dealing considerable damage with only a level 1 enchant.
Yeah, he's owning. And as you said, the Earthshaker, the biggest thing is now you cannot solo echo someone. I mean, you can, but it does no damage. It just shuts him down, still stuns him, keeps him in place. But a little bit of a nerf that hurt him quite a bit.
Yeah, and I really want to go in a test server and just test out the damage threshold for, or not the threshold, but the damage difference between the last patch and this one, and concerns with how Echo Slam actually works. I mean, I know that it literally echoes now. You don't need like an Agnum Scepter from the old days, but as far as the damage discrepancy, I'm not exactly sure if it's a buff or a nerf. I would assume it's a buff with the more units.
But you can't know until you practice, Sunsfan. Practice makes perfect.
Yeah.
Bottom lane, man. Young 11, look at his CS, actually. 23 and 15, tons of denies. The Batrider, I mean, not even really beating him. 27 and 6. Young 11 actually has the level advantage as well as a Soul Ring, so it's impossible to kill him without a stun.
Yeah, will definitely be difficult. KP, though, can flash farm. He's going to use that Firefly on the creeps here in the bot, but that's kind of the way Batrider rolls. I mean, with so many saves in this game, do you think he just goes for the drums? Obviously, we'll have to get a blink at some point, but doesn't need to prioritize it necessarily.
Yeah, we'll see it. I'm interested to see how Young 11 plays. He is going for the Phase Boots plus Soul Ring, so we might see a possible Radiance build from Omni, and that's one of the reasons then he definitely might benefit from Vengeful Aura.
Okay. I like me some Radiance on Omni Knight. Big tanky hero.
He is, man, SCC. He gets swapped back, and he's in a lot of trouble, my friend.
Arcane Orb doing ridiculous damage. Sanity's Eclipse is there. Here comes the first lasso of the game, bringing Vengeful Spirit back to the other side of the river, but Young 11 did TP. Didn't really need to.
I like all 3 heroes middle from the dire side. Oh, Ori, nice block there from Fenrir. All 3 heroes middle were cores, and Kaka, he's just dead.
Oh my god, the Purification. Level, I want to say 4, yeah. 300 pure damage.
And now KP, oh, he'll get the Invis Rune. I don't believe detection.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they spotted that. No, they'll see that the rune is gone.
That's the biggest thing. Vici Gaming and Newbee are both those 2 teams. They always rotate their cores. All 3 cores just TP'd middle for those kills. They're not afraid to lose, like, what, 1 or 2 waves of CS if they get a kill on another core. And both these teams, it feels like, are the only 2 who really do that. And that gives LAN M levels. He's like, all right, I'm an Undying. I'll just chill top against Moogie.
Yeah, I think SC is he's gonna find a lot of trouble this game with the lineup that he's going up against. But we've seen this time and time again. If you get to a certain point of the game, it doesn't matter who you're playing against. Medusa will outfarm most heroes, and that's not to mention the fact that Sven is also on your team that will be able to flash farm throughout the game. The question is, do they have enough farm for both of them?
That's always a big question. Two of the most farm-heavy heroes. I guess Medusa farms more later and Sven farms more early game, but still. We'll see. He's going Mask of Madness. We'll see if he goes Blink after on Sven. And Young 11 feels like he's doing a great job. What did he actually get? He did go for the phase boots. All right. And now we're going to have a bottom plus a top push, one from each team.
And KP, he was going for drums, but considering he has 1,500 gold already, he says, why not? Let's just go for the big dagger.
Yep, and Tranquils plus Windlace, so much move speed. 375 without the Tranquils even online.
Dire are scanning.
Scan comes in. They're going to just clip Faith here and ping it out. Knowing that support may or may not be on the way. Top lane down, Mugi pops God Strength. Will go to town on this tier 1 tower. Kaka with a level 2 Burrow Strike. When you see the Stormbolt come into play, Undying, there's the Burrow Strike. Do they have enough damage to take him out? Indeed they do, but the Paparazzi and supports are on their way. Paparazzi actually gets blocked by creeps. Really unfortunate, but Mugi, you have to think, will probably die here. Has the TP available. Maybe could do a cool Quelling Blade play to get into position, but again, very, very ambitious. So it'll be a 1-for-1. As Undying is already respawned because he's level 5.
Yep, does a lot of damage to the top tower, but still your Sven goes down. At least your Medusa gets a little bit of space. I mean, when you rotate 4 heroes, there's going to be an open lane on the map somewhere. So SCC double Wraith Band phase, which is going to push in middle.
And Fenrir is here to play level 4 right now.
It really feels like a ticking time bomb for Vici. They're up 6-2, but I mean, obviously the scaling is just so good on Newbee.
Right, and I believe the panel brought it up. We've just seen so many games with this quote-unquote window that needs to be achieved in a certain specific time frame. Just haven't really seen many games. I want to say maybe 1 or 2 have been successful out of a large majority.
Oh, look at Young 11 just running at Kaka top with a haste rune and phase boots. He just smacked him up. 17 wand charges and a soul ring. You're not bringing him down.
Yeah, definitely a tough kill. Mugi now will be able to get some XP and farm here as the creeps are pushed up to his tower. Faith is level 6 on the Ancient Apparition, so does have Ice Blast to work with. I'll keep that in mind here.
Yeah, plenty of stuns, too. That's the best thing about AA. You have Sven, you have the Bat Rider Lasso, not a stun, but hold in place in a Sand King stun. You should almost always be able to get at least a 1-man Ice Blast off.
Bottom lane
Burrow
level
strike,
7, but looks like Kaka might be the one that has to be careful here. Sentry not quite in range. They're going to place a new one, and that'll be the death of the Sand King. And now expect this to be a tier 1 tower.
I do like they're going for a pretty late game build. Top, though, Young 11 does not get the stun off. He just God Strength and pushes the wave. God, I love this. Just disco ball Sven.
Learning a thing or two from Leshrac as we're going to see OD go down. Burrow Strike onto 2. Faith's just going to TP out to safety.
Sorry for distracting you there, Suns fan.
You always distract me. You're just so good looking, Grant.
Thank you. Haven't heard that since my mother.
Oh my, Mugi gets the Stormbolt off. Young 11 with absolutely no mana.
Yeah. Oh,
he's just going to TP out in the face of the Omni Knight.
What a world. The Sven has to TP away from an Omni Knight. Feels bad right there.
Don't they have lore together? Aren't they connected somehow?
I think they're brothers or something. I don't know.
Brothers from another mother?
Yeah, I think Brood Mother. Brood Mother's sons.
Brood Mother. That sounds awful. SC looking for this last hit in this mid tower. Ori looking for the deny. See who comes out with it.
There's no way.
Mystic Snake. Yeah, deny goes the way of Ori.
I was gonna say, unless like SEC had more heroes there, you will not get that deny on a 2-hit tower, no matter what. No matter what fake out play you have. If he had ulti, possibly, I guess, but bottom lane. VG grouped up, and I think the Radiant saw that, and they come down, and VG's like, oh. Well, we don't have to do anything. We don't really care. We can just push middle tower instead.
This is Fenrir's 4th or 5th attempt at this mid lane gank. This will be one of the first times he won't find it.
Oh.
SC gets off a nice Mystic Snake there. Full mana, full HP.
This is the exact same combo we saw versus the last Medusa. You get the decay, you get the minus HP on the Medusa, and then you get the minus intelligence from OD. We saw this exact same matchup, and Medusa did get handled.
Young 11. Going for a Midas himself, as we hear a God Strength being used for the double Ancients here.
We'll farm out, but can they find anyone to smoke? Man, Dire just...
Can they see these cosmetic bugs through fog, you think? Like the crazy Sven stuff?
That's a good question. I have no clue. Yeah, I mean, you used to be able to in the old days. I don't believe so anymore, though.
Certain stuff still works through Roche Pit. I know that. Very few, though. Paparazzi in the top lane, going to be grouping up as the Ice Blast looks to connect on 2. Oh, only going to be 1. I mean, we haven't really talked about the fact that Ice Blast will obviously counter the Soul Rip and Purification from the way of Vici Gaming.
Yep, which is nice. And you see how quickly they clear waves. AA Blast flies in, one Mystic Snake, and the wave's just dead. And Sven's just farming all this time, right? They always have someone farming, which is so good from Newbee.
Look at these wards for Vici Gaming in the bottom jungle. There's literally 4 wards covering the entirety of this jungle.
But what are they doing with them?
Exactly.
Absolutely nothing. And we've talked about it. VG is definitely the best warding in this series, but they have the wards down, but unfortunately Newbee's still just farming.
We're going to watch them farm. That's what they want to see. See how many creeps Sven is taking. Bot lane, Paparazzi, going to run into Moogie. Stormbolt will be there.
Oh, and he has a blink dagger now.
On who?
Sven. He just purchased it on the right side.
All right. Batrider, I'm assuming, has had his. Yeah, almost done with his drums as well. So double blink dagger, the way of Newbee. They have great initiation possibility now.
And you see how VG just keeps grouping up, trying to make something happen. Like top tower, they didn't even take down. Like they gave up on it because they're like, man, this Medusa just keeps pushing us back. Like, what are we doing? We need something to happen. And now they're gonna try to make it happen bottom with the smoke.
Yeah, it's a 4-man smoke.
And they have vision.
They spot him out. Yep, one of those 4 wards is coming into play.
They have vision
here.
of like 4 people.
Paparazzi.
They want the Sven, obviously.
Level 1 swap. Okay, they're going to run right into SC, who's just going to get completely destroyed. And they'll take out the Ancient stack as well. Why not?
Okay, Golden Mausoleum flies out. They might try to push middle, but even with just the Medusa dead, it feels like they can defend this pretty hardly.
Pretty hardly or pretty hard?
Pretty, like, you know, when you're eating Thanksgiving dinner and you're full and you have to unzip your pants.
Oh, that happens for every meal for me, so I can't really relate.
Interesting. Oh, do we have a stun coming out bottom lane. Sand King's in a little bit of trouble. Oh, whiffs
Echo
it.
Slam does next to nothing, but LAN and company, they're going to surround him, and it'll be a kill one way or the other. It doesn't matter how pretty it is.
From the come with me to the kill, they'll take it.
20 attack speed now on OD.
Oh, top lane. They want Young 11, but Moogie, he has to blink literally right next to him to get that stun off. And now they know something's up. He's like, wait, why am I getting AA blasted? Someone's here.
That'll make the farm a little bit easier here for Moogie. This tower very low. Not sure if Vici wants to defend.
The old 11 just TP'd out. They can't.
Top tower is under attack.
So it'll be a tower going the way of Moogie and Newbee, who have... That's a pretty even game as far as net worth is concerned, but with those blink daggers, you have to expect them to perhaps get a little bit more aggressive.
Middle
here.
lane, they're going.
Yeah, there's the lasso, blink initiation onto Omni Knight into a burrow strike and the cold feet as well. You have to think that, well, with the repel, no purification even needed. He is super fast, by the way. AA Blast coming in, it's barely going to clip him. Omni Knight pops his ult. Paparazzi with a nice swap. They're going to try and turn this around on Batrider. Tombstone is placed, and KP is going to get a lot of damage here from the OD. But there's a blinking from Moogie and the Stormbolt double burrow strike. We hear that Stone Gaze come into play, but it's a 2-for-1 in favor of Newbee.
Yeah, and why is the Dirge so big just hitting Moogie? The guy's a giant.
That flesh golem, gracious.
And that is like you said, 2-for-1, and KP's willing to trade his life for that. Get the OD, because this OD has been pretty much just free farming right now, going for the Dragonlance after Midas. They have double Midas now, right? Oh, Omni Knight didn't go for it. He had it queued up, but he went for drums, and he survived that whole ordeal.
Yeah, I actually can't believe how fast he was that fight. Yeah, those drums, I guess.
Now they're just going to all shrine at bottom. Moogie continues to farm. SCC as well, going for the Mask of Mana, so he actually does damage.
Yeah, we'll be going Lincoln Sphere this game to prevent swap, stun from Venge. What else is Soul Rip, technically speaking? That could be used to actually just activate the Lincolns real quick.
Astral. That's
and
about
Astral.
it. Mostly just for that swap for sure. And he can just keep putting it on the Sven if he's in the back lines.
What are your thoughts on the thing I like about Vengeful Spirit Core is you can switch up your build quite a bit. You see a little bit of variation from time to time. You can see the Shadow Blade here for Paparazzi.
He can definitely get solo kills on AM as well as even maybe the Batrider. So I kind of like it in that regard, but we haven't seen him use the Shadow Blade now, right?
Yeah,
That's
he's had it for a little bit now.
And now Smoke Gank from the Radiant. They're just running right down middle.
Yeah, Kaka pretty close to getting his own blink dagger, so that's going to end up being 3 blinks on the way of Newbee. Not too far away.
And Fenrir has his in 152 on the Earthshaker.
Oh, Ori, he's going to get blink initiated by the Batrider. Ice Blast will be here. Undying is TPing in. We'll be able to kill him real quick. OD drops before this fight really starts. Tombstone's placed. Kaka just sitting in his sandstorm. There's a swap. Looks like Faith will be the sacrificial lamb. Kaka's just going to burrow to safety.
Once again, they're willing to do these trades. AA for OD again. These are great trades for Newbee.
And Moogie's just going to go back to farming. going for a BKB next, so knowing that a lot of aggression is soon to come for Vici Gaming, they do have that window that they want to take advantage of.
The Sven Classic. And look, I mean, as a core Venge team with an Omni Knight, you feel like you want to be taking towers, and all they've taken so far is a tier 1 bottom.
Yeah, anytime I see Avenge, I just feel like as a core, you got to 5-man at some point, it feels like.
She scales a lot better than some people think. It doesn't feel like it, but versus Sven Medusa, not even close.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Like, she can farm okay, but she still can't clear waves because you very rarely see like the Maelstrom build. You just see Wave of Terror and then right click.
And this is where OD needs to kind of take off in some regards. Of course, talk about one of his biggest weaknesses is having to get a BKB or something of that sort, but you do have Repel as a possibility, which I assume will be on him pretty much entirely throughout every fight.
And now you see the problem. So they use those 4 wards bottom, right, on the Dire. Now they have 1 defensive ward on the map and 1 ward on Undying. And it didn't feel like they get a lot accomplished with those 4 wards.
Oh, Faith places a ward, might die for his efforts. Level 2 swap is available. They lose vision.
They're so scared to run uphill, though. Like, we can't run up that hill, and it's for good cause. Because there was a Bat Rider as well as a Sand King. Sand King, no mana, 17-1 charges, but
Dire are scanning.
you'd rather waste a smoke gank than get your team wiped.
Yeah, I think Newbee's just waiting for this this Blink Dagger on Sand King and the BKB on the Sven, and then that's when they'll probably try to get super aggressive.
And they're going to have both in about 10 seconds here.
Fenrir right now does have a Blink. Not sure if he's shown it at all. That'll be pretty big. Young 11. He's pretty close to the Radiance. He has the Relic right now, just working on that recipe. Another 1,000 away. So these teams are hitting a nice little peak here at the 20-minute mark.
And still, they're just so scared to push into this tower. They know with the Bat Rider, someone's going to get caught. And SCC, meanwhile, 5 people top again, and he's just farming bottom.
Yeah, it feels like Vici, they don't have the greatest tower push per se. It feels like they need to initiate into a fight and then use that advantage that they get through the fight to push.
They have, like you said, they have decent tower push, but versus Snake, Split Shot, AA Blast, plus a Bat Rider who can just blink in Firefly, like, how do you ever have creeps to push? And now smoked up again. We haven't really seen a successful smoke in a while. See if Newbee can get one here.
Yeah, they've only picked off a couple of supports here and there. Nothing really turning into a big fight at all.
And no one's shown on the map. That Radiant has 0 clue where anyone's at. Lanham just chilling in the trees.
That's a big pickup on Ori, by the way. Hurricane Pike now.
And
in tow.
Oh, it looked like if they were sticking around middle, but they're just going to 5-man middle as Dire. Only Young 11 not with them, and he has the Radiance.
Oh, boy. Omni Knight Radiance. All right.
The problem is, how do you do this? Like, you want to repel yourself to be able to fight, but then say your OD just gets stunned once.
Right.
I mean, he's still more damage without Radiance than you are with Radiance.
We're going to see a big fight here, I'm pretty sure, unless Roshan has anything to say about it. Rosh, join the fight, my friend.
Unless Kaka just gets picked up.
He's going to run right into LAN M. There's the Burrow check. Already used Sandstorm. AA Blast onto 2. We see Young 11 coming to play. Uses the Repel.
Oh.
Ori gets lassoed up. Not a whole lot of damage done, though. Omni Knight's going to pop his ult. Not a whole lot of effect, though. Paparazzi now on the run. Young 11, no purification for 5 seconds. They can actually blow him up if they want. Fenrir with a big Echo Slam onto 3, but it's a little bit too late. 2 for 1 right now as the Sandy's Eclipse is activated, but it looks like Ori's in a lot of trouble. 5 sticky napalm stacks, can't do jack. Paparazzi now trying to run away, but you have to think this will be a death one way or the other. Gets off a magic missile, but with that Stormbolt will ensure the death. So a 4 for 1 exchange. Fenrir barely gets out.
And it just feels like Newbee has complete control over his game. They're down technically 3 kills, but they're up 3K already at 23 minutes with a Medusa level 17 who does a ton of damage with this Linken's, as well as the new Mask of Madness is like one of the biggest buffs to her ever with the plus damage. Yeah. And then Sven, who, I mean, just has a BKB. That's all you need on a Sven in a game like this.
Correct me if I'm wrong. So in the old patch, the last patch I should say, Mask of Madness would disable Split Shot. Does it still do that if it's a passive?
I don't believe it does.
Okay. That's pretty cool.
But I could be wrong. Don't listen to me.
We'll see here pretty soon. Just keep an eye on it, just like the Nullifier last game.
All right.
Just 100% check on that bad
How'd you feel about that Nullifier?
Oh, it was great. No, I mean, in theory, it's good. I don't know. It's tough to say because I don't think any item saves them in that game, right? Yeah. They just got to a certain point where Ursa was just getting kited left, right, so.
Oh man, and there we go. Omni Knight now. Omni Knight survived through a ton of that fight, and now that he has the plus 90 damage talent tree, if he gets on top of, you know, even Sven, if he can somehow get on top of that Sven after a BKB, like Sven's gonna lose that fight now.
Yeah, it's something to keep in mind that Guardian Angel, you have to think is going to be pretty powerful.
It was the only thing that kept him in that fight for so long, even though they lost it. And now Kaka Paparazzi. The one-on-one duel. Oh, and here we go. He catches him.
So uses the Force Staff already. Fissure is there to counteract. Stormbolt, though. Epicenter from Kaka.
Oh.
Not going to find anybody with the Burrow Strike. Vengeful Spirit's already dead, though, for Vici Gaming. Newbee will be a trade of sorts. Find the Sand King as Young 11 attempting to get out. Has a Purification, still with the Radiance doing damage over time. But again, you have to think they'll be able to... Well, he's actually doing a pretty good job of juking. Might need to turn off that Radiance. Or not, he's just going to go for the kill on Faith. Perhaps Mugi gets the Stormbolt off. Repel is there. Faith is just dead. Young 11. Oh, he misclicked! No, you misclicked on Mugi. That is not the play.
He's going
That is
back
definitely
in.
not what you want. Purification coming in again. He is so hard to kill. Looks... He'll find it anyway. This is so clowny. I love it. Mugi pops the BKB. Now he might be in a little bit of trouble because Purification's off cooldown. Oh my, Young 11, you beast.
Young 11 with the little bit of a misclick, but he makes it happen. And actually, you know what he did by doing that? He baited out a Mugi BKB. So it actually, yeah, intended. Gets that 9-second BKB. What a play by old 11.
What a god.
This
Tops the repel. Mana
Played so
Drain is
well.
still there, though, from the Mystic Snake.
He's in a little bit of trouble now, I believe. Maybe not.
Well, he has Purification with the help of Paparazzi. Stun Kaka gets the Burrow Strike up, but dies shortly thereafter. Venge, though, haven't really seen... Oh, nice. Swap onto his teammate. Just kill my teammate, he says, please. He discos away on Undying. Puts down the tombstone, and that's going to break things up.
Dude,
Nicely done for Vici.
How is Vici, like, I wouldn't even... Oh, bottom lane, though, they're actually going to get it in, and now Faith, he's going to whip his ulti, actually.
Yep, oh, Echo Slam is used.
Still alive.
And Ori attempting to TP out. It's going to be close. KP gets the last hit.
Do get on Ori, and that's super worth it for Newbee right there. They just get the kill on OD, even though you see 2 dead for Newbee. I mean, it's your 2 supports, and you killed their highest farming core in the Outworld. Yeah, it's 26 minutes in. We have 2 people, 200 CS. This is a high farming game, but pretty high octane, too. 29 kills.
Yeah. Gotta love it, man. These games have been super entertaining. Sven right now, Mugi, gonna be working towards a Bloodthorn for himself.
Dude, what? Young 11 has 3.4k gold. He has blinked and queued up. He could have already bought it.
Second Radiance.
What? Oh my.
Why not?
Is this one of those where you get like blink nullifier on this Young 11? Oh, wait up. KP.
Yeah, Burrow Strike nicely timed, KP.
No ulti yet, though.
Yeah, no Bat Rider lasso right now. Young 11, 2 sticky napalm stacks. AA ult will connect. SC gonna be zoned out by this tombstone.
What's that? Man, it feels like this golden mausoleum has just zoned him out of getting so many kills.
It's intimidating. Cosmetics win games, man.
Yeah, it is.
Have you seen this golden OD Astral as well in this game?
It is pretty... Well, we've seen it once. It's pretty dank. He drops the hammer for sure.
Speaking of which...
We haven't seen much out of the OD, have we?
This
Except
is
that
a new
bottom.
blink, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he has the Midas, so he's going to continue farming up. It just feels like Ori, we saw him get that kill bottom on AA, but then he just dies. Like, Newbee's awareness this game has been so well. We saw him actually, the Bat Rider left old 11, and then just TP'd bottom without even, or Young 11, pardon me, without even killing him.
Young old.
Young old, he's both.
I have to say, Vengeful Spirit pick feels very underwhelming this game. Kind of middle of the pack as far as net worth is concerned. This Shadow Blade, I feel like it's done literally nothing.
It really does feel like we haven't seen him initiate on anyone per se. We saw him save himself by swapping the Dirge, but Shadowblade doesn't. It feels like Vici, they're up 17 to 12 kills, but a lot of it just feels like Earthshaker Omni Knight.
Yeah, the Omni Knight is definitely their carry right now.
Oh, and he's going for the. He's just going for a Shivas, and Young 11's gonna have a full Shivas and 100 gold here. But Roshan, not much they can do. Newbee will just take it.
Yeah, KP zoning it out with a nice Firefly, sticking Napalm for a little bit of vision.
Going Bloodthorn on the Sven. I like it. If he somehow gets it up on that Omni Knight, that Omni Knight's actually going to be useless now.
Omni Knight's going to have to go BKB, guys. We're going to see it here first.
Wouldn't doubt it, actually. Oh, and he turns off the Radiance. Smart. He almost did. He almost just ran through the creeps.
That's what I would do.
they're completely 5-man smoked up, and they might. I mean, that's not the best find if you find a Sand King, but they go the other way.
Yeah. Paparazzi looks to be trying to initiate. Not sure if they saw KP. It is nighttime, so vision is definitely limited.
It's gonna break though. Oh, they have to realize it's behind tier 1 now when they broke.
Radiance is being shown.
What? I think they saw each other, but now they're just going bottom for Kaka, and he's like, wait a minute, I just saw him.
Kaka, you have a TP. Should be fine.
Maybe not.
I mean, he does play ballsy from time to time. Would be too surprised if he sticks around.
And now SCC just gonna counter ward.
And there's a BKB onto Vengeful Spirit, so we'll be able to survive a little bit in these fights.
Kaka still just sitting down bottom, maybe trying to bait away a little bit so his team can push top. Oh, he needs to be careful though. And he is.
So it looks like Ori will be going towards a BKB, regardless of the fact that Omni Knight is on his team. So you're gonna have a BKB and then a repel after. Pretty beneficial overall.
And now the young 11. I mean, he does the brunt of their damage in the early fight until Odie stacks up some intellect. So probably wants to repel himself until, like you said, after that first BKB.
Yeah, young 11 is very tanky. I feel like he might be the last one you kill unless you can get a nice... We've seen a couple times where they initiate and get good layering so you can't get any spells off, and that's definitely ideal. But in a long, drawn-out fight, you have to think he's going to be dealing a ridiculous amount of damage for Vici.
Why would you ever get 6 mana regen at level 20? That seems like a level 10 talent, if anything, or 15. At level 20?
The 12 regen or degen aura used to be a 25 actually, so 46% slow, both attack and movement. Very strong. And we actually talked about this the other day. I thought the Purification would definitely be the play for 25, but we saw, I forget who it was, pick up the 3-second repel. And I think the repel is amazing this game in particular, so why not?
That's just in general. I think you're the only one who thought the heal was, and you're like, Grant, everyone thinks the heal's the best.
Well, I was more talking about the old patch.
Oh yeah, I believe you, for sure.
I can't tell if you're being sarcastic, but regardless, it's going to end up being a 10-second repel. That's pretty strong.
Oh, and KP is looking to go in, and he actually finds the best target.
Boy. Oh, nice swap, though, by Paparazzi.
Oh.
Playing the role of spoiler here as a Vengeful Spirit. Almost feels like kind of just a support Venge this game, honestly.
Support Venge with a little bit more farm. Here we go.
And we have the initiation. AA Blast onto the OD. He's going to drop right off the bat. And BKB was forced out for Paparazzi, so Newbee getting off a good engagement there.
No, such weird positioning from Ori, but they're going in again.
Yeah, they want to. Moogie, he's ready to go in. God Strength is still up, but you hear, oh, the damage is out of control, but the Omni Knight gets a nice ult off. Moogie turning his back, doesn't want to look that wench in the face, that's for sure.
Oh.
Fenrir jumps in with a big Echo Slam onto 2. Moogie drops to the deck, a buyback from the OD. And Vici Gaming looking to turn this around. Medusa trying to hightail out of here. OD, no blink for another 5 seconds. Will stop in his tracks. Sand King is spotted out. Fissure will connect into the Enchant Totem. Nobody too close, though. See if he can get his way out of here. Gets swapped. Burrow Strike is up. Goes through the cliff here. Has a blink TP.
This guy's like a puck.
Will be okay. The Courier, unfortunately, cannot stun. Maybe in the next patch, guys. Can look forward to that one.
Has a Savage Roar. And, yeah, we've seen this time and time again. Ori just, the tier 2 tower is already down for Dire, and then he just goes there to farm, strangely gets picked off, and then we see, once again, Fenrir as well as Young 11 just combined to get that nice double ulti from Earthshaker.
Right.
But I just feel Ori is just a little bit underperforming this game, and Young 11 has picked up a lot of the slack.
No sorceries avail.
Young 11 working with very little mana at the current point in time. 9 wand charges, that's about it. Of course, he does have a Shivas.
It is crazy to think, though, Ori's only been in the pro scene for like less than 2 years, and that's nuts how well he has been playing.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt. Oh boy, we're gonna see it. Tombstone on death, my friends. LAN N. I love this skill.
I don't know, like, is it really that good versus a Medusa and a Sven?
No, I'm not saying it's good. I say I love this skill.
Oh, all right. No wonder you love the 200 heal on Omni Knight too. You just love garbage.
How dare you? But yeah, looking at the other skills now for 25, it is a little bit, it feels a little underwhelming for Omni. But it ends up being, what, 500 heal, 500 damage pure. That's pretty strong. That's pretty strong.
True. He doesn't really have the mana to hold that up, even with the Shiva, so.
Yeah, he desperately needs a little mana regen. Looks like Linken's is coming, so that'll assist him in that endeavor.
And man, Lincoln's is definitely the item of this patch, no doubt, already.
Nerf incoming. Lotus Orb has just been
Definitely.
dropped off the face of the earth.
We've seen, what, 1 or 2 of them throughout all these games, and it didn't even feel like you just use it for sieging. And
One of them was in a
Omega
game
lane.
with an Ags on Anti-Mage with 3 Lincolns and then 1 Lotus Orb.
Heads up, Suns fan. We have something about to go down bottom for sure.
Oh boy, the tier 1 tower gets destroyed by SC. Unbelievable stuff here from Newbee.
I told you, you always have to be on your toes.
Holy jeez.
Was 10 people down there from bottom, but they just take the tier 1 and run away. Dyer actually scans on top of them.
I mean, this is an elimination game potentially for Newbie, so they don't want to get too hasty here.
Yeah, I mean, you have a Sven Medusa, there's no need to. Because you've been seeing, I mean, these perfect ultimates from Fenrir, you do not want to be clumped up for that.
I saw a Spirit Vessel picked up by somebody. It looks like it was Faith. We've seen this, I want to say 5 or 6 times this tournament, and it's been pretty strong. Especially this game, you're going to see, I mean, you have the AAL to stop regen, but I mean, that's obviously not the most consistent spell in the world. You won't be able to use it consistently on both the Omni Knight and Dying, so.
You also need charges to use it.
That's true.
And
He
he's
needs to be close
struggling.
to kills.
Yeah. And
I feel
usually
like
you're not as
if you're
AA.
going to spend this much money, it should give you some charges. Like, hey, guys, if you have 0, just take 3 or 4. Why not?
Well, I'd say like 2, but 3 or 4 seems
Like
like
8 or
quite
9.
a bit.
Why not?
Why not?
Yeah, being able to kind of mitigate a lot of that healing, both from Omni Knight
What are they
and
going
the
to
Undying
have?
is nice.
What are they going to have against this Medusa, who has the Eye of Scotty now, as well as the Lincolns, and a Butterfly coming up in less than like 3 minutes? They just don't have anything to stop it.
Yeah, and I mean, another big power spike for Newbee is when SC hits 25 and is able to get this split shot uses modifier. So both the Scotty and Maelstrom will be pretty redonkulous in these fights.
And we have a full Bloodthorn and 400 gold from Sven. So being able to just lock down, like we said, lock down that Omni Knight just once. That's why they might need a Lotus Orb for that one specific occasion.
Wait, what's that?
The Bloodthorn on top of Omni, if they get the jump, like they need the Lotus Orb on him, like someone else to get it on him.
Yeah, definitely true. Yeah, he's gonna get that with this wave.
That's
so
scary.
Looking very pretty here as Paparazzi. Still kind of middle of the pack as this Vengeful Spirit. Maybe this is kind of their plan all along. I'm not sure they wanted him to be the most farmed in the game.
And it feels like they're pinging up to smoke, but they don't have a smoke. I don't believe. No, they don't. They're just sitting uphill pinging. And it just feels like, I mean, Newbee's just covering the map. They're up 3K, so, I mean, they're doing a decent job farming on VG Gaming's side, but feels like they're just falling behind. And we already do have an MKB coming up on Venge, but there's not many chances the Venge can just stand and fight. Even with BKB, right? Medusa's ult will still just lock her down if she goes on her.
Right.
Middle.
Burrow Strike on the tankiest hero in the game right now. As the Fissure comes out, he gets swapped into the river. Gets a baby Burrow Strike, I want to call it.
Is this guy Puck? Like, he lived bottom. He lives here. He doesn't even have a Yules yet. This guy's playing like a Puck, and he's not getting punished for it.
I mean, bottom lane, SC, being able to TP out in the face of danger. Remember back in the Dota 1 days with these top, like the WoW Dota, you'd see Puck plays and Sankey.
Middle.
See Echo Slam onto the Bat Rider, taking a lot of damage from the OD. But there's the ult from SC, level 24 right now as Paparazzi gets stoned. He's going to take a ton of right-click damage now as a result. A little bit of a mistake there, turning his face to the Medusa. Paparazzi very low as KP will take him down. SC actually with the triple kill. SC is balling out of control, and this wave might even give him that 25. The all-elusive 25.
And that is just... I'm actually... really, I thought they might just call GG right there. No buybacks, and now you don't even have your ODs dead for a while, and that was your initiation. Earthshaker was the one who went in there, and you lost that fight terribly. That was just good counter initiation, and they're just too farmed. It really feels like the cores of Newbee are just much more farmed.
Yep, Young 11's going to be spotted out here. Gets the repel just in time. Will block the Burrow Strike. Fenrir comes in with the AA Blast. Will have to force his way back. Kaka will live to see another day as the Omni Knight did have to pop his ult, it looks like. And Young 11 at half HP. Mugi's going to jump in. Lincoln Sphere will be popped. And that will be a dead Omni Knight. Will be forced to buy back in the game. Kaka will be taken out finally by Earthshaker, but it'll be a trade of lives. SC now going to town at the Young 11. I mean, he is ridiculous tanky. Shiva's in 5 seconds.
But see you.
But the Scotty will slow. Shiva's his pop. Mugi gets off the nice Stormbolt. Seeing the Spirit Vestal come into play now, as Omni Knight won't be able to heal as much. As you see, his purification is almost nothing, actually.
The backside gank. He's looking for Sven.
Well, he's trying to. His LAN is just going to get destroyed on the backside. So Paparazzi, again, just feeling a little bit out of place on this Vengeful Spirit this game. 11K lead for Newbee. They're going to spot Young 11. He just used the Shrine. There's the A ult coming into play, and Mugi destroys him. Expect the GG here pretty soon, as Newbee has just been crushing them this game. Completely different story.
It's crazy. It feels like Newbee just had the better team fight. I mean, Young 11 definitely kept him in the game in the early to mid, but now they're just going to lose a full set of racks, ping out Roshan, and let's get that Aegis and cheese. Both of them so good on Medusa. Doesn't really have room for it. I guess you get rid of the Mask of Madness for the Aegis more than likely.
And Mugi will enter the Roche pit with the Bloodthorn, waiting for somebody to pop that Linken's. If he even wants to use Bloodthorn, that is.
There you go.
There we go. I'm not even sure what Vici can do. Like, they don't really have the wombo combo comeback team fight mechanics.
Yeah, they have Earthshaker ulti, and then OD, who doesn't even have more, like, it won't do that much than Medusa. Medusa has tons of intellect.
Yeah. And now a full butterfly to go along with the Mjolnir, Scotty, Linken's on SC. And of course, the Aegis to top him off with the Mask of Madness in the backpack.
Gives the cheese on over to the Sven. Sven honestly could just give it to Medusa if that Aegis goes down and he doesn't die.
Right.
And a 3-life Medusa or just a 2-life Sven, 2-life Medusa is so strong. Boots of Travel up on the Batrider. He's done a good job of just popping the Linken's on Young 11 and then just pulling him in himself. And right now we're seeing the problem with Undying. Did decently in the early game, and now what does he do? Throws out a Soul Rip on the Omni Knight.
He's almost going to get a Spirit Vessel.
Oh, percentage-based gaming.
That's right. Paparazzi pushing out this lane in the mid. And Newbee, they don't really need to hide. They have the Aegis, they have the cheese, they have almost an unkillable Medusa at this point.
Yep, they definitely could. As we said, Earthshaker has had some good jumps. You just get that, and it could be problems, but...
Paparazzi.
Oh, SCC is just going to walk up. Hello.
Oh, you guys are smoked? That's cool.
Then he gets like the triple proc on Undying the Lightning. Has to use an urn. He actually got a triple proc on that.
Oh, no. Save those. Oh, no. He has no more urn charges for when that Spirit Vessel is complete.
And I'm not sure they're going to get any more.
AA has 0 as well, but he's used a couple already.
Bottom shrine is under attack.
And SCC just farming up. Hits the shrine, farms up the neutrals as well. And man, I really don't know. I don't know what Vici can do. I think they're just gonna 5-man bottom. They're gonna go for the sneaky
At this point, it's getting close to the miracle
status. Are they gonna run through? Or they're just gonna run uphill? I think. Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Why is Faith leading the way? Oh, I'm coming.
I'm AA. Fear me, SC. Give me the front lines.
They see him. They have the ward down. And here we go.
Mugi pops the God Strength. They're going to initiate onto the Vengeful Spirit. AA plus beautiful double burrow strike. Undying and Venge dead. Mugi just rips right through the Omni Knight as if he's a piece of butter, as Grand would say. The great Grand. There's the swap. This is the last stand here for Vici Gaming.
Cheesy.
And with that, you have to think this is going to be enough. Nice stand easy Eclipse, though. Ori with the BKB, but the right click from SC. Look at these procs, man. This is insane. Astral Prison will keep him alive for now. But good game comes out, and this is going to a game 3.
It is, and it just felt like Newbee won the early game, won the mid game, and won the late game. It didn't feel like anyone on Vici really accomplished anything except the Omni Knight. And when your Omni Knight's the one making plays, that's just bad. Just bad. It's just not good foreshadowing for your future. Yeah, I feel like Vici just felt they were behind all game, and when you have a core Venge, right, like you said, you want to take towers, and actually, I mean, Newbee took the first tier 1 towers, and then Vici finally took 1, and after that, they didn't really do anything else. It just felt like Ori farmed all game, right? Yeah. And then what does he have to show for it?
Yeah,
Nothing.
It felt like they really wanted to have a better counter, I guess, for the Batrider Lasso, which was Paparazzi, but in turn, he wasn't really a position 1 that game.
He wasn't.
It just feels like an out-of-place Vengeful Spirit. I mean, we talked about it at the beginning again, the aura doesn't really benefit anybody. I mean, sure, you have Radiance on Omni, he's the right clicker, but it's not the best right clicker.
Yep, exactly. So. And yeah, just overall better team fight coming out. And even in that last fight, right, they initiated onto one hero, and then Kaka double stun in the back. Mugi helped him out, and they just won 2 team fights at once.
So with that, We will go to a quick break. Game 3 is on its way, friends. So a quick break into the analyst desk, and we'll be back real shortly.
Get the alpha, be the alpha.
With the Strafe Esports app, follow your favorite teams and players, and you'll never miss a match again. Strafe, everything esports. Download now on iOS and Android.
Welcome back, boys and girls.